Student loans I talked about today on the podcast. I can give you the brief though. And I actually want to hear your thoughts, especially if any of you guys have student loans. 2020, March, something happened. Do you guys remember? Fake disease called COVID didn't actually hurt anyone. Nothing worse than a flu. Woke 19. But anyway, it happened. And because of COVID, until 2024, they paused student loans. In that, if you didn't pay them, there was no problem. You didn't have to pay. So people naturally stopped paying their student loans. I mean, you could pay them, but you didn't have to. You know, why would you pay them if you don't have to? And then in 2024, under Biden, they lost their court case about basically trying to cancel student loan debt. So what they did instead was Biden said, okay, you got to start paying your student loans. But if you don't pay, nothing's going to happen. Basically, they banned reporting the student loan debt to credit score agencies. So your student loans would continue to accrue interest, but if you didn't pay them, they would not report it to hurt your credit score. So what was your downside? You know, people did not still pay. And that brings us to today. Now, in 2025, things are a little bit different. They are resuming student loan payments, and they have now begun docking your credit score. If you're 90 days late, you now have a credit score hit. This happened to one of my editors. I won't say which one, but one of my editors just said that, hey, I just had a massive hit to my credit score. I didn't know why. It's because I wasn't paying my student loan. They just weren't paying because they had gotten so used to not paying. And by the way, so much of student loan stuff is done by like mail, and like your student loan provider can change without you knowing. Like someone else can buy your debt, you have to pay them now, and like you get it one letter. And now some people are like, well, my credit score already sucks. I can't pay it. I don't give a shit. I'm not paying. And as of May 5th, that's where shit gets into high gear. Because as of May 5th, they begin actual delinquency collections, which means your wages can get garnished. As of May 5th, you are now getting your wages garnished up to 15%. And you can have massive credit score hits. They can like go after some of your property, I think, to sell for debt. It's like a scary thing if you have outstanding unpaid student loan debt. That's coming up on May 5th, and that's when it's starting to get real. This is people searching for credit score student loans. You'll notice it spiked. This is all hitting people as a shock. And so that's the area we find ourselves in. Now, I think we talked about a lot of angles of this on the pod about like what it means to have student loans, what the solution might be. But I want to talk to you just about the economic side because that's what I'm kind of interested in. And what I'm trying to say is that like, regardless of what we should do about this or where we got here, the immediate impact of 40 million Americans having to start paying a $300, the average student loan payment, a $300 extra payment every month is crazy. It's going to be bad. I mean, people did not plan for this. And that's a lot of money to just add to your, like, imagine if your rent went up $300 just randomly. You have to change your whole lifestyle. You have to plan around that. So, and the economy is not going to be a great time to do anything like this. So it's what I think may happen is, I'm not even kidding. I think Trump, much like with some of these tariffs, might back down. This is going to be so unpopular to resume the payments that he may find a way to back down from it. People are going to start freaking out, and then the economy's going to take a hit. Not it's poor people. You understand. The collective spending of poor people is what the rich people rely on. When the Walmart CEO talks to Trump and notices that their earnings are down 20%, do you understand that? So I don't know. I don't know how it'll play out, but I do know that like this is under discussed. This is a huge event. May 5th is a huge event in terms of actual like hard hitting the ground on student loan payments. So many millions of Americans. So right now today, I think only 32% of student loan borrowers are current. And by that, I mean, they have made all their payments on time. So that's 68% of student loan borrowers are either skipping payments or paying less than they owe. Like 2 days ago, I just paid off Ari's. We had not paid off Ari's student loans since graduating, and we hadn't made a single payment since COVID because there was a chance it was all going to get forgiven. We were like, well, it might all get canceled by Biden, so we'll just not pay it. But now that I saw this news and I was working this presentation, I was like, let's just pay. I don't want to have any. And by the way, so I'll give you I talk about a lot of this on the pod, and you're going to have different opinions than me, and you're totally fine. But my theory, it's interesting, my thought on this, is that I think canceling the debt is good. Just because it frees up so many people in the prime working years of their life to not have to worry about this insane debt. But it's like a Band-Aid. It's a very small solution. It basically just helps a certain group of people at a certain age. And then every, Gen Alpha or Zoomer after that is still in the same problem. I don't feel great about it, but I also know the problem has gotten so bad that you have to just kind of pull the Band-Aid off but what I want to tell you is I think the core issue here, and it's going to sound unpopular, but it's that we decided that the government should subsidize demand so everybody can get a degree. But all that did was make degrees more expensive, insanely more expensive. If you go back to the 60s, 70s, college was relatively cheap. It was very inexpensive. You could work a part-time job and afford a semester's tuition. And if you went to college in the 60s, 70s, you were likely to have higher earnings potential. It was good for you. So we had this idea oh my God, well, people that go to college tend to get better jobs and make more money. Everyone should go to college. We should make it so everyone goes to college. So we decided we're going to make rules so that you could loan anyone money if they were going to go to college. The government would backstop the loans. The government will directly loan you money if you want to go to college. At the same time, all of the non-college, non-knowledge work jobs get shipped out of the country. So we lose all of our manufacturing jobs. So while those are going downhill, the only way you can get a job starts to become to get a degree, okay? And we want everyone to have a degree. So rather than have free publicly funded colleges to compete with private colleges or whatever, that's one way you might do it, or whatever, we just say, if you want to go to college, we'll loan you the money. So all that does is, if you're a college, imagine it's a two-way negotiation. Imagine this. Let me explain it like this. Imagine we all decide as a society that it's super sick to have a dragon lore skin in CS2. Op dragon lore, right here. Perfect. We all decide that it's super sick to have a dragon lore skin in CS2. Just societally, we decide if you have one of these, it's cool. Well, then the government goes, well, all right, we know that people want dragon lore skins. They're good for them. It's good for the society. Everyone should have access to dragon lore skins. So if you want to borrow money to buy a dragon lore skin, we're not going to credit check you. We're not going to care about how you use it or how you spend it. We're going to give it to you. Well, as a dragon lore skin seller, if your counterparty, the other people that are buying the skins, have an infinite credit check from the government, you're just going to keep raising prices. The price will only skyrocket. Okay, you can charge whatever you want because the other party knows they have to have it and they can borrow however much they want. So you end up with, $1 million dragon lore skins. And that is what has happened with the cost of college. Look, the cost of college has increased way, way, way faster than inflation. And this is before 2021. But it's gone way, way higher. And that is because around here, dude, we started to make it easier and easier to borrow. And so the college can raise the price, and you're a dumb 18-year-old and you just know you have to go to college. So if it costs $5K, you borrow. If it costs $10K, well, I got to borrow. $15K, I got to borrow. No matter what they charge, people will collectively decide at 18 that it's worth it. I have to do it. And they borrow whatever they want. And again, if there was no government intervention at all in this case, it would be, I don't think it's a solution, by the way. I think the government should have free public college. But if there was none at all, at the very least, they couldn't raise this price because nobody would loan them the money. Banks will not loan an 18-year-old, $200,000 to go get a degree that won't make any money. They just won't do it because they know they'll lose money. They know you won't be able to pay it back. But the government will loan that, so it makes the cost expensive for everybody. Everybody's paying this higher tuition because there's a lender who doesn't care what you're going to do with the money. They'll give you the money no matter what. That is how we got ourselves here. It's why I'm so passionate about it. I think student loans has been a huge disaster. If you go to college around here when I went, it's bad. But if you're going to college around here, like some of you, it's dude, it's getting horrendous. The amount of debt you're taking on to get a degree, and the degree is more or less valuable than ever. It's never been more scary to be graduating with a normal degree. It's the advantage in getting a good job is not as much as it once was. I don't know. I know some people are talking about this, but I really think it's such a huge oppressive issue to young people. And I assume many of you, especially if you're not college age yet, maybe you're young and dumb, but even on your lizard brain, you're kind of realizing this feels like a fucking raw deal. You can look and maybe have an older sibling or somebody who's graduated. It's hey, they graduated with a ton of debt. They don't even get a good job. They're still searching. They're working at Starbucks. So they don't have, they're noticing the economy is not providing the reward they expected, and it costs a ton of money. I live in Florida. There's a program called Bright Futures where if you got good grades in high school and go to an in-state college, 100% tuition and fees are paid. Everyone I know benefits the program, and it's actually a gigantic Florida W. That seems great. I think paying 100% is good. Ideally, the government would say there's a cap, we will never loan or pay more than whatever the inflation rate of the cost. Like, let's say it was 10,000 a month, right? They won't pay more than that, but we'll give it to a lot of people. Well, then you get colleges having to accommodate that level of cost because they can get so many students. So if you're a college that's like, oh no, we're only going to do 50,000. Well, then you don't get access to those students. But everyone that does this payment will get all these students that the government pays for. And somebody will do that. But if you say uncapped, and we're the government, uncapped, we'll loan you any amount, well, then the price is going to keep going up. Nothing will stop the price rising. The government has to negotiate, has to set a cap. And I mean that no cap. No cap, we need a cap. Yeah, it's just a demand subsidy. And a demand subsidy just makes the price rise. It's really hard to increase the supply of college education. Yeah, yes. It is hard to increase the supply, especially of degrees, a college with a name or whatever, a college that has some value to the degree above and beyond. Obviously, there's a bunch of like springing up colleges that'll take advantage of student loans. But anyway, another core thing is like college costs are like 10x. I mean, look at this chart. This one right here, dude. 50,000 to 5,000. College costs are 10x between the 70s and now, but the education you're getting isn't 10x. The experience of college isn't 10x. The product you're getting is not 10x better. It's like it is the same. It's the same basic thing. Teacher, classroom. You're not getting a better deal. You're just charging more. And in fact, you can make the argument you're getting a worse deal because in this era, you're spending $50K for a private college degree. And then the degree doesn't get you as far as it got you here. The degree here almost guaranteed. You walk in with a resume, put it on the desk, you get a job. And here it's actually difficult. You're sitting at 10,000 LinkedIn AI applies, or you're chat GPTing the whole thing. Or if you were a few years ago, you're taking Zoom school. You're spending 30 to 50K a semester on Zoom school. Your long-term earning power is higher. That is correct. It is still higher. But there's a lot of people fall through the cracks on that. First of all, anyone that goes to school and then doesn't complete it, negative earning power. It actually hurts you as if you should have not gone altogether. Many degrees are, it's an average of all degrees. Many degrees do not have a longer term earnings power. But when you're 18, they don't tell you that. They just take your money. People that want to be a teacher, if you want to learn how to be a teacher, if you have passion for teaching, they'll still charge you that massive tuition that you have no real way of making back. It's just not, it's not a good system. Teaching salary compared to investment is crazy. Yeah, it's fun. And we have a teaching shortage. We should want more great teachers. I mean, I think part of it, not all of it, but a part of it was policies that sounded good on paper that ended up backfiring horrendously and have now made college insanely expensive for everybody.